Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Brandon Cobb, and today I've got Dwan back on the show. It's been a few years since Dwan's been on the show, and guys, if you have not listened to Dwan's story, she went from single mom, broke, working at Denny's that she actually got fired from, to rehabbing an entire town. Now, when I say that she is a unique guest, I am talking about there is nobody else like her on the planet. She has one of the coolest stories. She's doing some really cool things, like I said, like rehabbing an entire town. We talked about that on the first episode. So if you want to catch her deep dive in her story and her background and how she started rehabbing an entire town, go watch that episode, go listen to it. We're going to talk more about how things are going, rehab an entire town. I know you bought a few more buildings, and like you're on the board. But first, what I'm really interested in is you've grown a phenomenal coaching company, and you're doing something really special with students. So, just brief background on the coaching company, and I kind of want to go into how you grew this coaching business.
Okay. So I've been investing for people that don't know me. I've done over 2,000 personal deals, thousands of deals with coaching my students through their deals. Bill and I have probably done $500 million with real estate, just like big numbers. I've been doing it 35 years. So I've seen every market, I've seen everything, I've seen all of it. And I've also seen all the coaching trends where you spend, $25,000, $30,000 and you've got whoever it is you're coaching with, so first I just want to say, when you're going to coach with somebody, if they won't give you their cell phone so you can reach out to them, don't work with them. You need to be accessible to people. So we've watched all the people that have the weekly calls, the monthly calls, the this, the da, da, da. And we've even done those things too, Brandon. But I always felt like people weren't closing enough deals. I'm like, they're paying money and we're teaching and we're answering questions, but I feel like we need to reorganize what we're doing. So a couple of years ago, Bill and I said, okay, we're going to revamp the entire thing. We're going to change everything that we've been doing. We're going to charge a fee and we're going to give everyone a 3 deal guarantee. So if you buy my coaching, I'm going to give you a 3 deal guarantee and we're going to take the first deal and we're going to split it 50-50. So this, I feel like with people, we're like, oh, I'm going to get a 3 deal guarantee and we're going to split the first deal. I said, listen, all you got to do is bring me a contract. We'll do all the work. We'll do like we know everybody in the whole country. We can wholesale or whatever anywhere, anybody. So they bring us a contract, we work it out, we do it, we split the first deal, they make money, we make a little extra, gives them the confidence. We say, hey, for the next 2 deals, you got 2 more deals guaranteed. You find them, we'll walk you through all the details. And next thing you know, they've got 3 deals, they're done, they're excited, they've maybe made 100 grand, and our average student makes 108,000 off of their first 3 deals. And they just keep rolling and they keep rolling because they have the confidence. So the main thing is we make ourselves available. We don't do weekly calls. And so it limits the people we bring in, obviously, because, we have to have time for our lives.
Mhm.
Between my husband and me and my son, the three of us, we do it. We take care of everyone. They're closing deals like crazy. And we've got people lining up wanting to be coached now.
Yeah. Well, and what type of real estate do you coach?
Really anything. We've got people that are buying apartment buildings. We've got people that are doing single family homes, people that are rehabbing, people that are landlords, people that are just wholesaling. It really doesn't matter. Subject twos, high equity deals where they're splitting deals with homeowners. It really doesn't matter to us. I mean, like vacant land like you do. Yeah, I'm not gonna coach somebody through that because I don't know enough about it. But there's not really any aspect that we can't walk people through because we've literally done everything.
You've literally done it. Yeah. I mean, I think you wrote some short selling books in the 90s just to go
Yes,
show you how much experienced one has.
I
All right. So
trademarked it. I have the registered trademark on the term short sales as it applies to real estate investing. I have the little R, short sales with an R, owned by me.
I
So
love it.
I
So
helped build
let
that entire
let's
industry.
let's break the coaching company down into a funnel. So top part of the funnel here is going to be getting new leads in, and then we'll go into how those leads get to actual convert to actual students. So how are people finding you? How is your coaching company getting leads?
Well, We still speak at some of the REIA, the REIA, REIA, Real Estate Investing Associations. We still speak at a lot of the REIA groups around the country. Like we just did a really big event in Ohio. There was, I don't know, 1,200 people there. I had a half a day session, so we sell some programs. They learn about our coaching. We go to some of these REIA groups and we'll do like a 2-day workshop, and so if we do a 2-day workshop, maybe there's 30 people in the room, like 5 or 10 of them are like, hey, I want you guys to coach me. Then we also have 2-day workshops online because not everybody can travel. And we talk about the 2-day coaching. So we're getting the leads from online, from the podcast. People call me and go, hey, I want you to coach me. But we actually have an application they have to fill out. And I tell people this all the time. I say, I know you think that we take everybody. We don't. You got to fill this thing out. I got to see where your head's at. We need to see what your risk factor is. We need to see, if you bought 18 programs and never closed a deal, you're the common denominator. I'm not adding my name to be the 19th person. So we really do filter people out because, everybody wants to throw money at you. It's like, oh, I get a guaranteed deal. It's like, yeah, but you got to find it and you got to make it happen and you got to get it under contract. I'll help you, but I'm not going to give you a deal. Why would I do that? So people find us everywhere, and then we have them fill out a 2-page application, and then we talk. And if we're at an event, we'll talk to them in person. If we're not, we'll talk to them on the phone. Just going to make sure we're on well, we have like the same moral compass. We're kind of on the same line. If they're just looking for get rich quick, I don't
Yeah.
get rich quick doesn't happen. I don't need those people. I don't want the shiny object people. Like I don't have any interest in helping people like that. So they have to
So
be
it
like
sounds,
in it to win it.
yeah, it's and it's so it sounds like you get most of your leads from speaking engagements, like in-person speaking engagement. Like you're not doing a lot of
Yeah.
Facebook ads or online marketing or pushing people to an online webinar funnel, or really anything like that. Like it's all in person, word of mouth. Am I hearing that right?
A lot of it is in person. Yeah, a lot of it is because, people, if you do a 2-day workshop and people see you and they spend time with you, they're like, oh, I love your family. I feel like you guys can help us. We have the same 2-day workshop. We do it online and it's the same 8 1.5 hour sessions. We talk about high equity deals, subject twos, wholesaling, deal finding, how to join the coaching program, how to become working with us. Like we cover all that. So we get a lot of leads online too, but probably a lot still in person. And I know probably a lot of people don't do it that way, but we make a lot of money from the coaching and I want to know people. I want them to get to know me a little bit and my husband and my son. And we just want to show people that we're really accessible. So, like if you became you said, I want to we call it the training. So you want to be an apprentice student, and it's you and your wife. We would immediately start a group chat with my husband, Bill, my son Will, me, you, and your wife. So the 5 of us would have a group chat, and you guys can ask all the questions that you want anytime you want, and one of the 3 of us will answer your questions. And if it's something that needs like a lengthy answer, one of us will call you and explain it to you. So people have access that way. So they text us all the time. So we keep it through text. No emails, no weekly calls, no none of that. You just text, we'll answer, and then if we need to talk, we'll talk. Then when someone finds a deal, we make sure they get it under contract properly, everything's done right. We find a title company in the area, we get moving forward to do
Yeah.
whatever we're going to be doing with that deal. So they're like
So, but
right with us.
are you doing 2 day speaking events that are your event, or are you going and speaking at the local RIAs or other people's event, or
No,
both?
other people's, the RIAs. Yeah, that way they have the hotel, they fill the room, they do all that. We show up, we do our training. We do the same 2-day live online. Once a month, we run the 2-day workshop online, and people come from that. But we go to other people's. Now, I don't want to go back to doing my own events. You know how much work it is to do your own events.
Oh yeah,
I'd
no, that's
rather
a whole
just
lot
set
of
a
event.
RIA group say, hey,
Yeah.
I mean, I had a whole team. We were doing our own events. I had like 10 people on my team just to get the hotels and get the people and the registers and to work the whole thing and the products and da da da. It's like it's so much work. So I want to do the things I love with less work. And this
Got
way
it.
is
So
actually much less work for us, but it's way more fun and it's more personal.
so you're teaching something at these events that you go to, but you mentioned that you are doing your own 2 day workshop once a month, right?
Mhm.
And what are you teaching on that 2 day workshop? And are you spending any advertising money on it, or are you just advertising to your email list?
Oh, no, 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 no. We spend ads. I have a VA team that runs ads for me. So if
Okay.
I came to the Nashville RIA and I spoke live and did a 2 day workshop there, the one online is the same one. So if we're not somewhere where people can't find us, they can find us online. So I have a VA team. They run ads. We get couple hundred people on a workshop. We run it once a month, and just different days, different times, different hours, just to try to get everyone that they can get on. So some come from that too, but any way that they come from, we just still sit down. We probably talk with people for at least an hour before we decide. And a lot of people, we'd say no. We're like, no, you're not ready because I don't feel the commitment. I don't feel that they're going to actually do the work to
Mm,
close the deals. So they're going to say, oh, I bought that. I didn't close the deal. I don't want those words coming out of people's mouths. I want them to say, hey, I
okay.
had a 3 deal guarantee. I found the first deal. We split 75 grand. I was happy to give them half. I got half. I did two more deals. I'm on my eighth deal. That's what I want to hear coming out of people's mouths.
Got it. Yeah, yeah. Not
So it takes a
you don't
long
want tire
time to
kickers.
get to a point. Yeah, it takes time, and you know this too. It takes time to build your business up big enough to where you can actually say no to people. Because in your brand new coaching, you're like, oh, I'll take everyone I can get. I need people, I need
Yeah.
testimonials. Like you just, you'll kind of take everybody. And then somewhere along the way, you're like, people aren't closing enough deals. I'm not happy with the results that they're getting. Why is that? And then you start talking, you're like, you know what? They're just shiny object people.
Mm.
And then you can
Yeah.
go, I'm going to choose you.
It's funny. We realized the same thing. We just started our coaching business here in the spring because so many people asked us to. We finally were like, okay, all right, let's give this a shot. It was word of mouth, and it was just strictly from people asking us about it. And we're like, cool, well, let's do this, and it's been wildly successful. But we noticed the same thing. And I think this is why the coaching industry gets such a bad rap. And like, oh, like there's a lot of scams out there in coaching. It has to be the right person. I think most coaches, when they start out, you're right, they take anybody, and anybody's not going to get the result. We've realized there's a specific avatar that we want to work with, and it's fun because they have the background, they have the experience. We align perfectly with what they're trying to accomplish, right? We've worked with, some W-2 people. Those are very difficult people to work with, even if they've done real estate, because they aren't in it full time. We're like, cool, they got the background and experience, they've
Yes.
done, quite a bit of, but they're not all in. So we've realized there's a specific avatar for it, and those people have success. And like, you don't want people coming in your program, the tire kickers, and trying something for 3 months and be like, oh, this doesn't work. And then, you get a bad reputation or whatever. So we realized that early on, like we're very particular about who we accept. If people want to attend your webinar to, learn more about, what you do, how do they attend one of your monthly webinars?
If they just go to my website, Dwanderful, DWANDERFUL, Dwanderful.com and opt in, they'll get an email about the different webinars that I have. I have a half a day workshop where we teach wholesaling and short sales and deal finding and scripts and things like that. And then I have just an hour and a half trifecta webinar that covers just the three things like in less detail, wholesale, deal find, trifecta, or short sale. So the trifecta. And then the 2 day workshop is called How to Make Six Figures in the Next 6 Months Investing in Real Estate. And it is a really great workshop. We do deal finding. We talk about this thing that Bill and I have called the Fed Up Pack. It's a packet that we
Mhm.
give homeowners that says, hey, these are your 10 options you have to buy time to stay in your house instead of just losing it to foreclosure. And then investors are like, yeah, but we want to buy their house. I'm like, yeah, but when you come to a homeowner and say, here's some options to help you buy more time to figure out what's happening, they want to work with you because you're not coming at them like money grabbing. You're coming at them to help them and give them some time to figure out that they actually do need to work with you. And then we cover subject twos, the short sales, the high equity, where homeowners have like gobs of equity and we split deals with homeowners. So we cover all of that in the 2 day and online. It's a really great workshop. And then we talk about the coaching, and then we have an application for people to fill out. And then we talk to the people, and the ones that I feel like are gonna make the actual effort and that genuinely, we even ask questions like, when you start making money, what charities are you going to invest in? What are you going to do with your money? Where do you see yourself? Like, if someone's just like, oh, I just want to make all the money I can as quick as I can, it's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not your girl. So, I mean, I ask stuff like that, like, what are you going to do? Where are you going to invest? Who are you going to help? Where's your soft spot? Well, who do you have a heart for? Like, I want to know that our moral compass kind of aligns, and if it doesn't, there's somebody else for you, but it's just not me.
So you do the 2 day workshop, and then there's a pitch for the coaching. Um, and they fill out an application. So, like, what does that look like? Like, how do you get them to the application? Do you send them a link, or do they have to go to the website to get it? Are they booking a discovery call? Like, how are you closing the sale?
If they're in a live workshop, we are going to do an hour and a half presentation and talk about the coaching. And the that presentation is called Six Figures in 6 Months. We lay out the blueprint, what it looks like, how each quarter is going to break down. We do everything. We tell everyone to do everything in quarters. If you start in January, February, March, you take that quarter, you assess it at the end and go, hey, I didn't find enough deals, or I found a lot of deals, but I lost all of them. They were like, okay, your scripts are weak. So we break it down into the 4 quarters. Like, this is how the year should look like. Working with us, we expect you to do this and this and this and this, and we'll do this and this and this and this. So lay it all out. And then people fill out the application in person right there. They fill the application. I give everyone an application. I say, just fill it out. Doesn't mean you're committing to anything. Just fill these out. Let us see where you're at. So everybody in the room fills one out. And then we look at the people that were interested and close them that weekend if we're in a live event. And if
Mhm.
it's online, they can upload the application and fill it out, and Bill or myself will call them and talk to them. So I don't even have it sourced out to like salespeople because I don't know. I just hate that whole pushy sales. Someone's trying to close
Yeah.
you for, 25, 30, 40, 50 grand because you don't need to do that. There's a ton of people that will want to work with you because they like you. They can look and see you've got experience. They can see thousands of testimonials. They believe that you're going to truly do what you say you're going to do. And we've started making more money coaching now that we made it personal. Group chat with just you. You can text as much as you want. One of us will talk to you. Someone will call you if we need to. When you get down to the bottom line, we'll even three-way call a homeowner with you if you need that. We'll help you find title. We'll help you find everybody because we're getting half that first deal. And once you close the first deal, whatever that place in your mind that's like, oh, I don't know if I can do it, it opens up, and next thing you know, people are closing deals everywhere. Because you know how
Yep.
people
I
are like, oh,
love
I
it.
hope I can find a deal. And the first deal is the scariest. So if
Yeah.
I'm helping you every step, what are you afraid of? I'm not going to let you fail. I don't fail.
Yeah.
I don't work to fail.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I hate the like high pressure salesy stuff. Like somebody should want to do stuff because I hate that too. Like I hate it when I feel like someone's trying to close me and it's just high pressure. And, I don't like that. It's like somebody should want to work with us, not because they felt like there was a high pressure situation and they, caved into it because it was too awkward or something like that. Like I hate stuff like that.
And we've
Um,
done that. I had an infomercial. We've had big workshops with hundreds of people and closers. And I don't know, just as the time goes on, Bill and I are like, we just don't like that. And I don't like it when it happens to me. I fill out forms all the time. I'll see someone's doing some kind of a really great half a day event, and I'll fill out something to watch it because I'm interested in it. And then I get 2,000 phone calls and so many text messages and so many emails. It's like, for the love of God, I don't want to buy this product. Stop calling me. And they
yeah.
hound you to death. I signed up for an event that's on Saturday, And I have already gotten between texts and emails 15 reminders
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
yesterday. Like, for the love of God, I know I signed up for it. I'm gonna be there.
I don't want
Stop
you to forget.
texting. It's
Yeah,
like, how can
it's
I
it's
forget? I got four today. It's like, oh my God, please. I haven't even gone yet. I'm almost not wanting to go because of all the hounding.
yeah, I love it. All right, so that's really cool about the coaching business. What about let's follow up because you've been rehabbing the entire town for quite a while now. I know that you bought a few more buildings. Like, tell us about that. Where are you in the journey with rehabbing the entire town? And maybe even start with like what you see as like the final vision for it that you're working towards.
Well, we bought a another building, a big building. It was the Masonic Temple, and there is no like event space really in that little town except out at the casino. They have like a couple of event spaces, not that big. So we got like they were asking 900,000 to start with it, and we got it for like 175 because we just waited and kept making lower offers and lower and lower. And then they're like, okay, we need to sell it before winter. So they went from 900 something down. I think 175 is what we paid. So we're going to
Wow.
put in, so we're hiring a person to do events because then that brings the downtown to have an event, an event space. And then they have a thing called the showboat. They have an actual showboat up on the river that's dry docked and they do plays all summer long. And we got the contract from the showboat to rent our apartment building. So we just signed that contract. So now we've got the showboat people living in our apartments. We've got a place to do some big events. A couple of the other buildings are getting ready to be rented. And we just make sure that when we rented things that will help everybody. Like, I don't want a vacuum cleaner shop or a mattress shop or a guy has an insurance company. It's like, no, we need people that bring people downtown. Food, beverage, entertainment, music. So we're very picky about who we rent to because we want people to come down. And we also now are on the board. We're on the board of everything. I did not know how bad politics were. Let me tell you, a small town like that, you cannot believe the arguing when eight people have to make a decision. It's like, the hell's wrong with everybody? Don't we want this to work? Yeah, then why is everyone got to throw just say yes and agree and let's move on? But they do this thing called Music on the Avenue. So in the summer, every Thursday, they close off the entire street and they have live music and they have food trucks and stuff like that. Well, the first year we participated, they were getting about 500 people a week. And this past summer, they were getting like 2,200 people every week coming downtown.
Wow.
And we're a big part of that because we're the number one sponsor. We promote the heck out of it. We provide space. We keep our stores open. Like, we just, we help participate. And so the downtown's getting like it's starting to get bustly. Like, you can go there and feel it's like it's starting to get kind of bustly. And so I think our long-term goal is we're just going to keep all the buildings and keep them all rented and pass them down to the kids and the grandkids.
That's so cool. And what city is this? Tell people where it's at.
It's in Clinton, Iowa. Clinton, Iowa. So my husband's from there. It's right on the river. So in Clinton, there's a bridge, and over there's Illinois. We're over here. And we just started going back to high school reunions, and I kept noticing that he'd drive me through the downtown, tell me the old stories. This was the Sears, this was the Pennies, this was this. And I'm like, why is the whole town boarded up? Like, what's happening? So I made a phone call to like the city administrator. They said, oh, we're doing a downtown rejuvenation project. And we're like, we want to be a part of that. We bought a building and then we bought three and then we got three more and then we got this more. And then the bank said, hey, I've got these. I'll give them to you. No money down if you'll just finance them. And we're like, oh my God. And then it was like, okay, now it's getting to be too much. And then we bought them from the Sonic Lodge. Like, I told my husband, stop buying buildings. Stop buying buildings. So we've
Yeah.
just taken on one at a time, finding a thing that would work in that space to bring people down. And the property values have already gone up almost 50% in the downtown since we bought our first building.
Wow. Yeah. You guys have,
And
I
they're
mean,
all,
you're force appreciating it by, the more you own and develop, the more valuable the remaining buildings become.
and it's an opportunity zone. So, if you hold everything 10 years, no capital gains. And there's
Wow.
one big building, it's a six-story building. They turned the whole thing into lofts. They spent $17 million turning it into lofts right on the main drag, right next to our buildings. We're like, oh, that was amazing. And there's a hotel one block over where like movie stars from the 30s and the 40s used to stay. And they're spending like 22 million on that and turning that into a bunch of lofts right downtown. We're like, keep bringing on the lofts, keep bringing on the breweries, just keep bringing it on. So our property values are going up. And then, we're renting out to really great people. And then we own like a little antique store. We own a couple little tiny stores like pet projects on the side. So I have a little antique store of my own. And I know nothing about antiques. I just like the antique shop. So I thought I'll just open one. How hard can it be? Just rent the spaces out, get enough people in there to pay, have someone work there all day. Now I have an antique store. So I don't know, we
Now
kind
it's
of
that's
dabble in a
interesting. So it's
lot.
you're not buying the stuff for the antique store. You have vendors come in and put their stuff, and you do like a profit split.
Yes, yes, yeah. So I, I actually, Bill and I like to go antiquing. We don't buy a lot of antique stuff. We just like to go. And I thought, you know what? They need to have a really nice antique store because I found out in the Midwest, one of the biggest things people love to do is go antiquing. Like it's a big thing. In Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin, tri-state area, they have a giant map of all the antique stores, and they all do things like on these weekend events where people go to all the tri-state. I mean, I'm like, I don't understand what a huge business this is up in the Midwest. So I said, well, we'll get it one, and then I don't want to fill it. I don't have time to do that. We'll just, take 10 by 10 spaces. We'll rent them all out. You get 100 spaces. Everybody pays $150 a month. You take half their profit. You have someone run the store. Next thing you know, you got 10,000 people a year coming through your store.
That's wild. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, where do people find all this stuff? But it's vendors that come in, stock it, and it's not just one person and all their
No,
stuff. It's
it's
like, how does
vendors.
one
But
person
the
find
people
all
that,
this unique stuff?
but the vendors, like they tell me how they found things. They go to find things in barns and they go to estate sales. And then they refurbish a lot of stuff and make it like usable, but keep it looking old, like old modern, like farmhousey and stuff. And so
Mhm.
all the vendors, they have barns and garages where they're working on stuff all day long and they bring it in and sell it. And it's like, I love it. So yeah, no, if I had to do all it myself, there's no way I don't have time to do that. And I don't have the knowledge or really the patience to go digging for things. I like people to bring
How do
stuff in.
you how do you decide what the highest and best use of like a commercial building is going to be? Because I know you're buying stuff, you're like rehabbing it, and you're rehabbing an entire town. How do you decide what the highest and best use of like a commercial building is going to be?
Well, all the buildings that we have, like the building with the showboat people, the bottom floor is all commercial. The second floor is all apartments that already came with the building. The third floor we just turned into apartments for the showboat people, and then the fourth floor is a restaurant. So all the buildings that we have, most of them have like a multi-use. So we're not just stuck with like one thing, but like some like them and one we bought was a car garage. Well, that's got six parcels. It had storage units, it's got three buildings, it's got parking, it's got all this stuff like that. So we just when we look at something, we just try to decide like what could we do with it that would benefit the downtown. Because some of them are just they need too much work, or they're just way, way, way too old, or they just been had bad roofs for so long, it's like a full rebuild. And it's like if you spend $400,000 rebuilding one building, how long is it going to take you to make any money off that? So we kind of
Yeah.
make sure we pick and choose things. One thing we did learn, I got to tell you one thing in the very first, I think the first year, it's called the Tucker Building. So it's commercial downstairs, apartments, a restaurant. So a couple things like we had learning curve, like you were talking about with your land deals. So we have this building. These old buildings have these things that are called boilers. So
Uh-huh.
I did not know what a boiler was. I don't know that Bill did either, but it's a giant heating thing in the basement that heats the building. So in the winter, you turn it on October 1st, you turn it off April, it heats the whole building. Well, the very first year in like January, the boiler went out. And we're like, people are like, hey, the boiler's out. It's freezing. We're like, oh, okay, we'll just get it fixed. No, these are old boilers, like old, like 60, 70-year-old boilers. They don't fix them. You got to replace them. $65,000. And I was like,
Mm.
what the F? Are you seriously kidding me right now? And so I said, okay, we need to check everything we have and see what's got boilers. They all do. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay. So now we got to get coming in service. So now, like, if it's got boilers and a bunch of old stuff, we pass because so expensive. And one building had an elevator, and we're like, oh yeah, we'll just have the elevator, turn the elevator on. No, it's so old, we had to put a new one. You know how much a new elevator is in a little tiny $150,000. I was like, shoot. Okay, elevators and boilers. Now we need to learn more about roofs. So we had some learning curves on our own from not knowing things to look for in old buildings. In new buildings, you don't have that. They'll have, heat and air and everything. But the old buildings built in the 1900s, they have old things. So we learned a lot in the first year about just that kind of stuff, keeping up with the
Oh yeah,
elevator certificate, keeping up with like the boiler. I mean, the boiler was like, Bill and I were in sticker shock. It's like, how much? Can't you just put on like heating system, like heat and air? And
yeah,
that's,
yeah,
no, to heat and air every single unit was like three times the money because you have to do unit by
oh
unit. And
cow.
we're like, oh my God, okay, let's just replace it right now. And so as we do each apartment, and when people move out, as we redo each apartment, we give each one its own heat and air. So as they all turn over, they'll all have their own. But the
Wow,
cost of doing
that's
that was like 250. And I was like, the boiler's like 65. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's the dead of the winter. So we sent every person in our building. It took about, and they have to order it. They don't just have them in a room somewhere. We had to order from Chicago. So for like 5 days. We bought a heater for every person. We sent pizzas and food delivery to every person, like hoping they wouldn't move out. And they all stayed. Everyone was fine, but it's like, oh my God. So we had
yeah.
some big learning curves too.
Man, it sounds like it. Yeah, you're going to have that in real estate. There's no way you're going to know everything. There's always going to be surprises. It is the teacher that just keeps on teaching, and I have not come across that problem yet. So that's really interesting. Dwan, if people want to learn more about you, learn more about your coaching program, what you're doing, follow you, where can they go?
Well, they can follow me anywhere. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Thread, all of them at Dwanderful. Just DWANDERFUL. I took Dwan and Wonderful. I made a new word. So if you just type in Dwanderful, I'm literally everywhere. YouTube, everything, and then dwanderful.com. Opt in and you'll get some free ebooks and you can find out about workshops and things I have coming up or come see me live somewhere. We have live events and we're just always out there looking to change lives. I just looking to change lives.
Love it. All right. We'll make sure that's posted. It's been a pleasure having you on the show and catching up with you.
It's good to catch up with you too, honey. Thank you. Bye, everybody.